How do you handle the haters? Well, this is part three of this series, so stay tuned and don't go anywhere. Hey, this is Lance McGowan with Essential Oils Me, and today I'm going to cover how to handle the haters with a little bit more information on, you know, putting ourselves in their shoes and also looking at how we can improve our own thought process as we hear things. So I'm going to cover that more so in the next section.
How do you handle haters? Well, this is part three. All right, so the first thing you want to keep in mind, if you remember the TV show or the movie Clueless, where the main character, the girl right there in the middle, has said whatever, whenever she had somebody disagree with her, but she hang around with the crew that believed the same way that she thought, and that has to do a lot with regards to confirmation bias. And so that is confirmation bias 101, where you're unconsciously referencing people, organizations, or even studies that only support your own point of view. Kind of the whole birds of a feather flock together. All right, the reality is that people judge themselves on intention and judge others on their actions. And actions are also the words you speak, whether it is verbal or in written form or online or whatever it is, email, text. And that is very important to keep in mind because if somebody is criticizing you or doing something where they can't see themselves doing it, it doesn't fit their box, they're going to look for information that only supports their agenda. And so that means, yeah, looking for other experts, gurus, studies, sites, websites that really only support their agenda, and what they're doing is confirmation bias. That leads to cognitive dissonance. And you can see the girl there in the picture kind of has like two of herself there because she's feeling a little uncomfortable. And the reason is because you can feel uncomfortable or insecure after holding two opposing beliefs in your head at the same time. And so when somebody, myself included, if I get, what I believe in to be true and then somebody else is telling me what they want, I have two opposing things in my head, and it does create some uncomfortableness for sure. Now, what I do with that uncomfortableness is the key. All right, but what this looks like is I really like their charisma, but disagree with what they said about dot dot dot. And that is actually a little bit more honest because most people don't say like, "Hey, I disagree with what you're saying." Most people are just like, "I don't understand," or or "You're crazy," or da 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 da. Or I've gotten some really interesting comments on social media and in person. But the point is I believe the true test of intelligence is to hold two opposing beliefs in your head and be able to reason through both of them, talk about the pros, cons, and then come to your own conclusion and then be objective about it, but still have, obviously, hey, here's what I'm leaning towards type of thing, or here's what I do believe in it and why. But yeah, this is a very interesting concept because this is kind of attaching a name to what's happening in both of these cases, the confirmation bias as well as the cognitive dissonance. And another solution though, and because that's what I think about is like, what is the solution? And one of my favorite movies is The 8 Mile. If you haven't seen it, it's with Eminem, and he's doing this little rap battle at the very end, which this quote here by Charlie Munger summarizes that that situation. All right, so his quote says, "I never allow myself to have an opinion on anything that I don't know the other side's argument better than they do." Okay, and so in that rap battle, Eminem, the one who's kind of talking right there, he basically in that rap battle said everything that his opponent was going to say, and then when it was time for his opponent to rap against him, he was speechless. I mean, he didn't have anything to say because Eminem took literally the words right out of his mouth. It was almost like Eminem read his mind, said everything he was going to say, and then said it better than he was going to say. And even if you don't like rap or don't watch that, or if you do, for me, that's like super important. It's like, yeah, I have my own position, but it's important for me to understand the other side and do so in a way that really I can communicate and understand it better than they do. And that is cool. So if we can create 8 Mile experiences, but instead of rapping, we just chat respectfully with others, that would be great. And if you know somebody that's a hater, I think they could learn a lot from that. Okay, and the final thing that I like to keep in mind, this is from Ty Lopez, is hustle until your haters ask if you're hiring. And so there's going to be people that doubt you, that don't believe in you, that hate on you, that criticize you for what you're doing and what you believe, whatever that is. It could be your health, it could be your relationships, it could be your finances, your career. There's lots of things for people to hate on. But anyways, at the end of the day, just not giving up and doing things with excellence and trying to help as many people as possible and really reward the people that stuck with you in the beginning. I mean, there's a lot of people that, in my life that I've had to distance myself from because they turned, from a helper to a hater, or they were never a helper and they just stayed a hater, And so for me, it's important to surround myself with people that are going to help leverage my strengths and work with me on my weaknesses. And I think that's the big thing. And when it comes to strangers and social media and stuff like that, my goal is to always just add value, and people can take it or leave it, right? That's more of like attraction marketing, where I put myself out there, I put who I am and what I do and what I'm about out there, and you can take it or leave it. It's like an all you can eat buffet. If you don't like the channel, change it. Like you do that on TV, you can do that on YouTube, you can do that on Instagram, unfollow, unsubscribe, do whatever it takes. But at the same time, for me, I always want to surround myself and always put out content that I believe is of value and relevant to people and really just helps improve their life in some way. But hopefully this has helped. Some of the next steps that you can do is click on the links in the description to learn more. I do have other videos on how to handle haters. There's a part 1 and a part 2. And there's other videos on how to handle other types of haters too.
So when it comes to haters, whether you are one or you know somebody that is, or if you see yourself becoming one, regardless of the situation, there's a lot of things that we do that it's important to kind of consider, because the more awareness we have, the better. So you have that confirmation bias where we're seeking things, people, information, studies to support our own agenda. Then you have that cognitive dissonance where it's like, oh, I have two opposing beliefs in my head. I can only hold on to one. Yeah, it's only going to be the one that I agree with, right? And I'm going to get rid of the other one because it's uncomfortable. But really, the best solution is to be able to hold opposing beliefs in your head, look at the pros, cons of both, remain objective as much as possible, but still have an opinion or a thought process on how you can find the truth or seek understanding to get more information, to get better information, or to help with your perception and interpretation of that information. And that's going to be the best way to equip yourself, so that way you're living out what you're expecting of others, even though they may not live that out too, because they may not have the awareness or the skills to do that. And if somebody is a hater, well, at least you have another way to look at how you're approaching points of views, topics, or your own thing, and maybe you can approach things more objectively in the future. Or if you do have a stance and a strong position on something, you can at least do the research and look at the other side to be able to communicate it better than they can, so that you have a more well-rounded and versed approach, and hopefully doing so all in the realm of respect. I think that's so important, especially whether it's face to face, over the phone, text, online, social media. I believe there should be a level of chivalry or civility that is going on, and so that is so important, I think, lacking. And I know that's so important for me to live out, but that's when it's not done, that's something that I always keep in mind, and try to you know surround myself with people who are about that life. Okay, well, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click the subscribe button so you can watch more videos like this one, or click one of the links down below so you can continue to get your learn on. And if you know somebody that can benefit from this, make sure to share this video as well. Click the like button too.